got the intercooler completely mounted. I made these two brackets for the top. They mount to the stock holes where the AC condenser mounted, and then they just run to these holes in the top. And then they made threaded holes in the bottom too. And I managed to find a couple bolts, and I just made a couple brackets that come from the bottom of the radiator support, and it just fits perfectly. I'm pretty sure the bumper will fit over it. I'm not gonna worry about trying to make that happen right now, so I just want it together. So yeah, I'm just putting everything together. Now that this is mounted good, I just did a little bit of test fitting the radiator. It looks like it's gonna fit real nice. I will have to, move these wires a bit, rearrange some things, but should fit nice. This is a Griffin, I think 3-row, 2-core radiator from Summit. So it was a highly reviewed piece. So I'm gonna run it in the Fox and see how she does. Try to keep it nice and cool. And so now the cold side is pretty much done, except for the spot in here where the math goes. So I'm gonna have to chop that down a little bit and then measure to see how long of a piece I need to make for the math. And I already had this welded back when I was working on the truck, because I already had this bung and this pipe. So the guy that welded the aluminum on the intake manifold on the truck did this too. So I just need to find out how long to make this and get a coupler, and that'll go in there. So after like 5 trips to O'Reilly's, I finally found the perfect size belt, and this is the part number for it. I think perhaps I had to have a different size belt than some other people online because I have the upgraded alternator. So not sure if that's it or not. Maybe you have a different size pulley or something that the previous owner put on, but for whatever reason I had to use a different size than most people. This is the size I'm using, but honestly you just have to get one and try it and go from there when you're doing this. So glad I got that figured out, and that's one more thing off the list. Alright, so I got this piece measured, cut, and cleaned up the ends, and then kind of flared the ends with just a crimp tool. That way the intercooler boot has something to grab onto. I'm not going to be pushing that much boost through this thing, but still, I'd rather just do that. It doesn't take long to do. So got that all set up, and it fits in here just perfectly. Get the wire out of the way. Fits in there perfectly. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's a good fit. I ordered an extra coupler because I'll need one due to the way that I'm doing this. Not a big deal. And now that I have everything mocked up and intercooler's in good, I'm going to go ahead and tighten all the clamps on everything except for the turbo, because I'm going to be pulling it off another time or two. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the cold side. So it's pretty easy. Alright, so the cold side off the turbo is basically done. I need to find a way to pull this pipe off the turbo away from the harmonic balancer, because it's actually not touching, but it's way too close for comfort, so I'm going to do something about that. And also I'm looking at mounting the radiator. There's these stock mounts right here that are not nearly big enough for the new radiator, so I'm just smashing them flat like this so I can get the new radiator in, and then I may be able to bend them back and make them work for the new ones. So that's what I'm working on. I'm going to test the new radiator and then see what I can do to pull this pipe away from the harmonic balancer. Alright, so got most everything connected. I will have to take the distributor off and prime the engine. And there's a tool which is basically just a deep well socket for priming the engine. And sadly, none of the stores near me have one. No! Sadly, none of the stores near me have one. So I took my own socket and a bunch of extensions, taped them together so hopefully they don't fall apart. And I had to grind this one down to make it fit in the hole. And yeah, this is going to be my priming tool. Hopefully this thing holds together, because I did have to trim a lot of it down. But I want to start this thing tonight, so this is what I'm going to use. And yeah, I'll have to take the distributor back off, prime the engine, and then put it back on, and then go for a start. I'll also have to put this MAF on and just plug it in. Like I said, this is stock MAF with stock injectors, just so that I can see if anything's leaking and whatnot. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do, my ghetto priming tool, and hopefully it works. My buddies are coming over to help me, so we'll see how it goes. There's like random bolts and stuff laying around.
Scared the life out of Raymond.
Alright. So mainly keep an eye on like where the injectors are. And does somebody have the fire extinguisher like ready?
Should we go ahead and pull the pin on it?
Are both ends of the battery hooked up?
Yes.
I don't even know if I
So
could
it's
pull
gonna
the
be
pin on that.
You just yank it, it comes. So, the exhaust is coming out right here, keep that in mind.
Okay.
Hear me? I'm just gonna prime it, look for some fuel, and hopefully see none. I'd say probably use a flashlight, probably worth checking.
It kind of quit on me.
Is it ready?
Yeah.
I stopped it. Is that normal?
I was throwing some like good sparks to.
Ready, dude?
Yeah.
Here, just a second. I want to adjust that just a tad, just to see.
I say advance it some. Nothing crazy.
No, I didn't. I lined it up with the marker where it originally was.
I'm gonna give it just a touch of gas. More gas, just a little.
That was quite a bit.
Alright, let's advance it.
Or do you want me to leave it loose and I can sit there and try to turn
That's
it?
what I'm saying. Let's just do that. Does somebody know where the fire extinguisher is?
Yeah, it's like right next.
Alright. I realize that's not how it's going to sound, but alright, so as you saw, the engine successfully started. We had to adjust the distributor, and I'll show you the timing marks if you can see them. So see the white mark there, and the other one, let's see if I can do this. Alright, so here's the mark down there that it's supposed to be on. These two are supposed to line up, so as you can see we had to advance it, turn it clockwise a bit to get it to idle right, and it still needs a little bit more adjustment probably, but like that it would idle and run, and it sounded good. I didn't hear any lifter ticks or anything like that, so that's reassuring. And now I can go ahead and, now that I've blown all the crap out of the engine, I can go ahead and go forward with mounting the turbo permanently. So instead of using a gasket, I'm using the same stuff that we used on the exhaust manifold, which is this ultra copper RTV stuff. So I've got a big glob of that on there. I'm going to do it the same way I did the exhaust, just put it on there, put the bolts hand tight, and then give it an hour, and then tighten them all the way, and then the turbo is going to be permanently in this car. Alright, so I'm waiting on a couple parts to come in before I can get too much further on this thing. So in the meantime, I'm making a coolant reservoir, and I got this idea from the Premium Fuel Mag YouTube channel, so I'm not going to make a real in-depth video about it because you can just check it out on his channel. But basically it's just PVC cap on both ends, and then using this tubing to make a port in the bottom like the stock coolant overflow, and then I'm just going to make it where this thing opens up on the top and you can pour coolant in, and yeah. And also this is going to be a drain from the inside. Like I say, I'll show you the finished product so that you have a better idea, but if you're thinking about making one, you should check it out on his channel because he covered an in-depth way of doing it. So anyways, that's what I'm working on.